All right, hello everyone. My name is Peter, and I'm going to introduce you to a few of my plants here today. You might have seen some of them before, but I'm out here on the porch, and I have a few more. As always, this is my spider plant. This video is sponsored by Squarespace, by the way. One of the first plants I got, Crunch gave me this, and I've just been barely keeping it alive, honestly. Sometimes there have been a few close calls, but it's still alive. And I have a little fake spider plant up here. Check that little guy out, just hanging out up there. And you can see I have some other little plants down here. And if you're wondering if perhaps I have given these plants a series of cute and adorable names that has a story and has something to do with their personality, well, you're wrong, because I don't name plants. Sorry, there's a lot of cars driving by this time of day. Everyone's getting home from work. I save naming for important things like ocean liners, or maybe new planets, or maybe new children. So I have two of these cute little ferns, or whatever these are, right? They're doing okay. And a little succulent right here. Very nice. Now this plant, whatever it is, seems to be struggling a little bit. We should give it some water. I think I already did water it. No, it feels kind of dry. Is that enough? Too much? Too little? I don't know. Do you think if I leave this watering can here in the sunlight, then cool bacteria will start growing in here? My palm plant over here is, well, it's struggling. It fell over and I don't know why. Oh look, there's a neighbor's cat. It's going under my car. Come here. I haven't become friends with it yet, but it's still a pretty cute cat that visits me sometimes. I touched it once, and it made my day better. How you doing?
Good, how are you?
Just fine. And then here's my spider plant, which a friend gave to me for my birthday once, and I'm very happy. Snake plant. And I'm very happy to say that this is probably the easiest one to keep alive. It's probably one of my most hardy plants. And then this is like some sort of little, I don't know, it's got cool thick leaves. And then last but not least, we have this, which is a corn plant. I guess because it does kind of look like corn. I don't know. It's pretty though, and it's not falling over like the palm is. And that's about it. Let's go meet our pen for today, which I've had some weird problems with, which you'll see. See? Well, you can't really see, but I'll show you. First, let's talk about Squarespace. You can use Squarespace to make an all-in-one platform for your online presence. It can be your professional website, an online store, or portfolio. Plus, imagine you're doing something where you, for example, need to add some appointments for classes or sessions that you're doing. Squarespace makes it so easy to book or schedule these sessions. Your clients will easily be able to see your availability, and then they can book themselves, and before you know it, there they are. Squarespace has all the tools you need to get your business off the ground, including e-commerce templates, inventory management, a simple checkout process, a secure checkout process. So let's get started now. Go to squarespace.com to start your free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/PeterDraws to get 10% off your first website or domain. All right, so this is the pen we're looking at today, and I want to draw with it, but some crazy stuff happened yesterday when I was unboxing it, looking at it, trying to figure out how it worked. First of all, you'll notice that it's very sleek looking. The outside of it is entirely made of linear carbon fiber, and the inside has a casing made of stainless steel. Apparently both of these items are pretty hard to machine and manufacture, which drives up the price a bit. Also, they told me that each pen has about 30 or 35 minutes of manual labor that goes into it, which probably drives it up even more. Anyways, I felt like I was driving a Ferrari when I was trying out this pen yesterday. And you can see it still works great. In fact, it's really satisfying how it feels in my hand, how it goes across the paper. Pretty much everything about it is really satisfying, except for as soon as I filled it up with ink, it has a very cool plunger, a built-in plunger, which I use it to fill up with Waterman Ink, which I feel like is a very safe choice. I tried to use maybe the safest choice, so it couldn't be the ink if anything went wrong, but something did go wrong. This pen is $300, and that's why I say it's, I felt like I was driving a Ferrari that suddenly got an oil leak or something, because this happened yesterday and it's even happening again today. You can see that there's a lot of ink around here. This is dried ink from yesterday, and I saw it bubbling again. Basically what happens is there's some ink that seeps out from underneath this little seam or crack right here. And I haven't seen any of it seep out anywhere else on the pen. Maybe this little screw just needs to be tightened a little bit. I mean, the pen is very satisfying the way these pieces fit together. Like, you could twist it, the cap comes off. There's a little B right here on the side of the nib. One downside to when I was filling it up is I filled it up and ink, they have all these nested parts of the pen, right? There's this outer carbon fiber barrel, inner stainless steel barrel, then there's the nib, and if you dip too far, a lot of ink just kind of gets lodged in here, and then it comes out at an inopportune moment, You know how ink is. Whenever you're not ready for it, it'll bloop out somewhere. Anyway, so I was pretty discouraged to find that there was like an ink leak right here, especially when I went into this liking this pen a lot, especially since they had sent me some pens before. This is the Venustus Magna that we're reviewing today. In the past, I've looked at this one, the Carbon T, which looks similar, but it's a little bit more streamlined, right? This one worked great. And then they also sent me this one, which is you can hardly even see what's going on here. They're so they absorb all the light. This is a lead holder. The nature of the carbon fiber, I guess they just, they don't they're like, I'm holding a little pencil-shaped black hole in my hand. I love it. I love how they feel, the texture of the carbon fiber. They're really nice, obviously, but maybe there's, I don't know, something to be, I wanted to leave a glowing review, but, it's not as bad as it was. Maybe it'll go on to be fine. I do think it's cool that this is just a clear barrel, and it fits over the plunger. Anyways, I don't want to talk about this part too much. I kind of just want to get to drawing, because I think it'll still work really well for drawing. So yeah, potentially very nice pen, and it should be for the exorbitant price, right? Drop $300 on a pen. You expect it to feel great, look great, and hopefully not leak ink, which this one did, unfortunately. Sad but true. All right, we're going to draw right here. Wait, let me see how this pen does in this book. If you're testing something out, you write test. That is known. All right, seems pretty good. It does put down a lot of ink. Like, those are luscious lines, but look at that. It's not even, it's not bleeding through at all. This is a handbook. I think it's made by Speedball. Now, hey, this is a tough part for me, because I would love if I could just be friends with everybody, right? And I hope I still can be. Look, it seems like a big perk of my job, that I can form some relationships with and be friends with people who design and manufacture and produce and like fulfill orders of pens and stuff like this, like the people behind the pens, right? I'm starting to form these relationships and be friends with some of these people, right? And Filippo, I've been in touch with him. He's one of the two people behind Venustus, and it's been a pleasure to talk to him. But it hurts me so much to like get a pen like this. He sends me a pen, and then I feel like, I have to say some bad things about it. Not bad things, but I have to be honest about it, because like, here's my experience with it, and I want to share my real experience with it, because I have to figure out where my priorities are, right? What actually is my job? My job isn't actually to have good relationships with pen people, right? The people who make pens. I think my job is this is where my priorities are, is to provide my real experiences with these pens. That's what I want to show, my real experiences with these pens. And that's what I'm showing here, right? I got this pen. It seems nice, but also I had some struggles with it. So I feel bad that maybe I don't know, I feel bad, but also I think it's the right thing to do. Now, I also do think it's important to say that my real experience with this pen is not typical for a number of reasons. First of all, because it was sent to me for free, and that's important to say, right? And so if I had spent money on this pen, if I had spent $300 on this pen and it had started leaking on me, it would have gone a lot differently. First of all, I wouldn't have just been like, oh no, it's leaking on me, and then kept on using it. If there had been like a little defect like that with the little leaking between the carbon fiber part and the stainless steel part, that little leak, if I had spent money on it and that happened to me, I probably would have sent it back, and I'm sure they would have been more than happy to send me a replacement, right? So that's totally different than the average consumer experience. So that's important to note. Me, I'm just here showing things that could happen to you, but it's not the normal way things would have panned out, right? So keep that in mind. I'm sure they have, I'm sure they would replace this pen if I asked them to, or I'm sure they would have before see, that's the problem. Now I don't know if maybe they're like, oh, Peter, he said bad things about our pen on the internet after. To make this review, I have to pretend that the people who sent me this pen aren't going to watch this video, even though I'm confident that they are going to watch this video, because, it's like when people send free products for review to my channel, I'm like, of course they're doing it because they want publicity and marketing, which is totally understandable. It's like you scratch my back, I scratch yours. But it's not my fault if your pen starts leaking in the middle of a video. I'm trying to figure out where my responsibility lies. Anyways, I hope y'all don't think I'm being mean, giving a honest but slightly negative review about an expensive pen that I got for free. But I do want to be honest about the pens I get, right? And so that's why lately I have been trying to just buy the pens I want to review so that I don't feel this conflicted feeling. But I also make sure that people who send me pens know that I'm not going to just say good things about it just because they sent it to me for free. Also, I will say I still like Venustus. If you remember the pens they sent me before, the Carbon T and the Designer 8, that's another fountain pen, and the little lead holder, right? I love those two items. I don't know what their design process was like, but I almost feel like the Carbon T, their other fountain pen, is a more refined version of the Magna, this pen. And I don't know, it's just smaller, slimmer, sleeker. I don't remember having any problems with it. Like, I still like using it. The Magna is just bulkier, bigger. It's just got features that you don't need, like all these nested barrels. Besides the fact that this pen, the Magna, leaked on me on 3 different occasions. First, the almost inexplicable and indiscernible leak between the stainless steel and the carbon fiber barrel there. I'm not sure where the ink was coming from almost, but it was definitely coming from somewhere. That leak happened. And then there was ink kind of hidden away on the front of the pen near the nib between the two barrels. I couldn't tell it was in there. Then I put the cap on and a bunch of ink splurted out because it didn't have anywhere else to go. That was the second time it kind of leaked on me. And then thirdly, you'll see that in this drawing there are a couple of runaway splotches that splooshed down onto the drawing in the middle of my drawing and had to kind of incorporate them, which isn't the end of the world. In fact, it's kind of, if you're ever feeling stuck in your drawing, hey, just kind of splatter some ink out there and then work the uncontrollable factors of it. You can either do that or maybe close your eyes and scribble a little bit if you're ever stuck, or anyway. So it wasn't the end of the world that ink splattered on my drawings, but it's still not something you want, right? What happened was it was starting to, the nib was starting to dry up a little bit or something. So I was like, hey, maybe I'll give the plunger just a tiny little push. So I pulled the back of the pen off. Well, first I should mention that I had the cap posted on the back of the pen. So I pulled the back of the pen off, cap and all, and I gave the plunger just the tiniest push till I could tell a little bit more ink was flowing into the nib, right? Everything was going fine. And then I tried to put the back of the pen on with the cap still on it, which normally wouldn't be a problem with fountain pens, but as I was putting it back on, I guess the cap, since the back of the pen is just a clear tube with no back, it's pretty much just a big carbon fiber straw, right? Something about the inside of the cap on the back of the pen caught the edge of the plunger and pushed it in even farther and squirted a bunch of ink out the front of the pen. I don't know if that made any sense. It's kind of hard to explain, but that's where those two big ink droplets came on my paper. So on 3 different occasions, I had uncontrollable ink coming out of this pen. All right, all that aside, I still don't like this pen as much as their other pen, the Carbon T. Like I said, this pen is bigger, and I think it's either only because so that they could fit in the built-in piston, the plunger thing, or maybe it's just bigger because, like I mentioned before, maybe this is the first pen they designed. And so it just feels a little more unrefined. It feels bigger, heavier, kind of clunkier, right? Some pens feel great in your hand, even though they're big. I don't know if this is one of them. Also, unrelated to the pen itself, I was using the Waterman ink here, which I haven't actually used in a while, even though I used to use it pretty frequently for at least several months, maybe a year. I don't know. It was kind of my go-to ink. But now I'm second guessing it. I did not enjoy the Waterman ink that much in this drawing. I don't know what was wrong with it. Maybe I didn't shake it up first. Maybe I got a dud batch, but it just felt very, well, maybe it's appropriate, but it felt very watery. And when I was trying to block in whole dark sections, it felt like I could see the individual pen strokes very easily, which hadn't been happening with the platinum carbon ink I was using. See, I stopped using the platinum carbon ink for this video because I had repeated comments so that people think the platinum carbon ink has the potential to clog up pens more easily. Maybe because it's waterproof or something. Something about it is more likely to clog up pens, and I just didn't want that to be the reason why this pen didn't work. I don't know. Maybe I'll try the TWSBI. I have some TWSBI black ink that I got recently. Maybe I'll go back to trying that, because I got that at, I think, Oblation Pens and Paper in Portland, and I got it because I remember they had a little booklet there with all these little swaths of ink, and it was the darkest, blackest one. So I should go back to that. Plus, it comes in a cool bottle, which is a big thing for me. Anyways, to recap, this pen was an emotional roller coaster for me because I had had good experiences with the previous pens that this company sent me. So I was excited about it, and then I had some technical difficulties with it leaking, but then it was still still drew well, like satisfyingly. Like the feeling of it drawing was good, but then I didn't like how it felt in my hand, but then it was leaking some more, but then it was just so many little ups and downs. I would say my kind of if you want this pen or it looks cool to you, I would say go get their other pen, the Carbon T. It's cheaper, better, and it worked better for me. I don't know. I feel like, once again, I feel bad. Maybe I shouldn't even be mentioning all this stuff about my precious little conscience getting in the way about me saying things about things that were sent to me for free. Like maybe that's a non-issue. Yeah. Also keep in mind that I'm not a pen expert. I've only been using pens for like fountain pens for 3 or 4 years. So, but that also means that my experience would be possibly very similar to yours if you got the same pens as me. So I think it's valuable in that way. If you have a similar level of, well, pen experience as me. All right, I hope anything I said in this video made sense, but thanks for watching. It's somehow it's still a cool pen just because of the novelty of the carbon fiber and its sleek looks, despite all of its hiccups and shortcomings and misgivings, and I don't know. I feel bad. I wanted to like it really bad, okay? I really wanted to like it, but it just kind of felt like when you pick up a frog you found when you're a little kid and you're so excited about finding the frog or the turtle or something, but then it just pees in your hand. That's kind of what it felt like. Okay, bye.